I went through quite a lot since the age of 11. In the meantime, everything got way worse. OCD is so much more. It's not just checking once if your house or your car is locked, because I was afraid they would lock me up in a crazy home somewhere. Hey guys, welcome back to a new YouTube video. My name is Guusje van Geel. I am 24 years old and I'm a fitness influencer who's trying to be very active on YouTube lately. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you like my videos, as I'm trying to upload twice a month to see if people who follow me are wanting to get to know me a bit better personally. Today we are talking mental health. I went through quite a lot since the age of 11, as many things started to change for me and my family from that time. My parents got divorced and the divorce was a long and hard one. I'm not going into this any deeper out of respect for my parents, as I don't think it's my place to talk about this in details online. What I do think is that I can speak from experience when talking about feeling unsafe, scared, very sad for long periods of time. Don't get me wrong, my parents gave me a wonderful childhood and I love them both very, very much. But at one point, choices were made and some of them weren't always as good for us as children as it really affected me. I got a lot of help from psychologists for years, and I'm finally at a point where I feel like it could help people when I'm opening up a bit more about my mental health issues, so people feel less alone in this. Everything I'm saying today is very personal and also my opinion. Please be respectful if you want to comment anything, as I'm trying to be very vulnerable here. Another disclaimer, as this is social media and people always have to say something. I'm only human after all, and trying my best to spread this message in the best way possible, as I usually don't speak about this in another language than Dutch, so be kind. I will talk more about mental health stuff in other videos if you want me to, but today is about having OCD and how I cope living with it. So what is OCD? OCD stands for an obsessive compulsive disorder. This is a brain-based neurological problem, so I'll break it down in two different parts so I can explain what it is. So let's start with the obsessive thoughts. These are thoughts that keep spinning in my head even though I don't like them or want to stop them. It's like having a song stuck in your head that won't go away, but with thoughts that you really don't like and makes you anxious or stressed, because you are often scared of being capable of doing them, which obviously is what I'm trying to prevent from happening, as I'm just scared of my own thoughts. But as it's an obsession, I can't control it. Then we have compulsive actions. These are actions that people with OCD feel they must do, even if they don't want it. It's like when you feel you need to wash your hands even though they are already clean, or when you have to place something in a certain way even when you know it doesn't make any sense. But I feel like when I'm not doing these actions, something bad is going to happen. So by doing these actions, I'm trying to prevent it from happening. People with OCD often suffer from both things together, as I do. I get an obsessive thought that gives me a lot of stress, and then I feel the compulsion to do something to reduce that stress. But often the action only helps a little or not at all, and the cycle starts all over again. It's important to know that OCD is a real mental health condition. It's not something people can just stop or get over without any professional help. It's also not my fault that I have it, like with other health issues. There are treatments like therapy or medication that can help people to feel better and deal with it a bit more. So when I was 12, a psychologist found out that I had OCD, but I only discovered this recently from my medical records. I think they didn't do anything with it because it didn't seem very troubling to the child psychologist. I always thought I was diagnosed with OCD after turning 16, as that was when I got serious about finding help for my behaviors. But looking back, I showed many signs from a very young age. I used to do things like compulsions secretly because other kids would laugh at me and found it very weird what I was doing. But those actions made me feel better and gave me some kind of relief, so I kept doing them for years. The reason I went to the child psychologist was because my parents separated and I actually lost my stability at home, which was probably also the behavior the psychologist noticed in our conversations and the tests I needed to do. But nothing was done about it at that time. My parents also don't remember it being diagnosed or spoken about, but it is in my medical record. So it's weird, but it is in there. Let's go to Guusje, who was 16 years old, and continue the story from there. I sought help around my 16th from a psychologist for my compulsive behavior and received help. I didn't tell my psychologist about my obsessive thoughts because I was afraid they would lock me up in a crazy home somewhere, as I thought there was something seriously wrong with me and I felt scared for myself for a very long time. So yes, I was helped by this psychologist, but not completely. I told him half of the story, and that's why I wasn't helped in the best way possible, since I should have been open about everything. After months of therapy, I thought I would just do it myself. I knew how to better deal with things thanks to the help I received, but I still had so many unsolved problems, which started getting out of hand when COVID hit. I was at home a lot, traveled very little for work, and was constantly confronted with my own behavior. I had more than 50 compulsive actions I would perform in a day, not to mention all the obsessive thoughts that drove me crazy every minute of the day. I can definitely say that I needed therapy from someone who was more specialized in OCD at this point, since I was no longer leading a normal life. I was late to work and my appointments because I couldn't let go of my obsessive behaviors. I spent hours making sure everything around me was okay so that nothing bad could happen, so I could deal with all the fears I imagined in my head. I asked again for help and I got it after waiting 5 months, and in the meantime everything got way worse. I started therapy kind of fucked mentally, but after years of help at another specialist, it got me to a point where I can now say that I can live with OCD and know how to deal better with my compulsions and intrusive thoughts. I got cognitive behavior therapy, which they often use for many different mental health disorders. This time I was fully open about everything I was doing and experiencing. Most important when you are seeking for help from a specialist, and specifically getting cognitive behavior therapy, is that you have to work on yourself so hard. And it costs so much energy and time, and there will be many ups and downs. But you are the only one who can make it better for yourself by really applying the things you learn in therapy to normal life. And it's easier said than done, of course. It is so scary, but personally, I wanted to learn to live and deal with my OCD so badly, and I did everything in my power to become better at dealing with everything. I did exactly what they told me to do for homework, as I wanted to live a more normal life again. So yeah, now today, I still have OCD, shocker. Which I accepted, and the fact that I know it's part of me really helps, because I'm not ashamed of what I do and what I think anymore. It's just a part of me. It's who she is, and I will forever need to deal with this which is fine. I have good and bad periods when there is a lot of stress or just when it's busy in my life, it gets worse. But as long as I know why I'm acting a specific way, I also know what I need to do to make my own life a bit easier, as I learned and have been given tools to hold on to when things aren't going so well. I know people often make funny videos on TikTok, for example, about OCD and think that it is a cleaning disease, or that OCD is that you have to lay everything out straight, or that the teacups in your cabinet have to be in a specific order. But it's not a cleaning disease, and it's also not a funny thing or an easy illness to deal with, and that's why those videos are often very ignorant. You can joke about it, it's fine by me, but do it with the right things that fit the mental illness, you know?
Here are 5 common myths about OCD. Number 1, OCD is about liking things neat, clean, and organized. If cleaning and organizing brings you a sense of enjoyment and fulfillment, it's not OCD. While OCD can manifest as excessive cleaning rituals or compulsive organizing, these acts will bring the individual an incredible amount of distress, not enjoyment. Myth number 2, OCD is a superpower. While those who have OCD are some of the most courageous, creative, and resilient individuals I've ever met, OCD is not a superpower. That's similar to saying depression or cancer is a superpower. OCD is a terrifying, tormenting, and exhausting disorder that, especially when left untreated, can rob somebody of so much in their life. Number 4, everyone is a little bit OCD. Again, OCD is a mental health disorder, not a cute, quirky personality trait. Being particular, having a preference, or having the occasional intrusive thoughts does not necessarily mean that you meet the diagnostic criteria of OCD.
I'm gonna simulate what it's like to have OCD, so it's gonna be a little disturbing. Is there someone that you care/love a lot in your life?
My mom.
You're gonna have the thought that your mom tomorrow morning is gonna get hit by a car and die.
What the hell? I'm not gonna have this thought because
Okay.
it's very dramatic.
You have an iPhone? You have the Notes app? Can you take that out and write down that thought? You're gonna write down, my mom is going to get hit by a bus tomorrow and die.
No, I'm not gonna write it down.
Okay, why not?
Because I'm scared it's gonna happen. I mean, if I think about it, it's very traumatic to think about it, so no.
It's over. I'm sorry, you seem very uncomfortable right now, but all of that is what goes through someone who has OCD like 24/7. Intrusive thoughts that are very disturbing. It feels very real. It's like you're writing it down, and then anxiety that comes from that, and then you engage in compulsive behavior to get rid of it.
OCD is so much more. It's not just checking once if your house or your car is locked or if the straightener is off. That's what's human. We all check things to be sure, and every human being has intrusive thoughts. It's normal, but there is a line. If you can't control those behaviors and you do it obsessively, try to ask for help, please. It's very hard and it's not as easy for everyone, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's nothing more powerful than seeking for help to better your own mental health in any way. So I wanted to thank you for watching my video. Make sure to remind that this is my personal story where I don't go into details for now, as some things are personal still. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask down below this video so I can maybe answer them for you. You are not alone. Mental health can be very, very tough. We all have feelings. Even people on social media with their amazing fake ass lives struggle with problems like this too. I'm just here trying to be human and open up about it, and I hope it helps, even if it's just one person. I want to thank you again. I love you all. See you next time in a new video.
To all the doubters, to those who don't believe, this is the hour. You'll see.